Now, energy sources are renewable or non-renewable. So we're going to look at the non-renewable ones first, but just make sure there's two of these. So you've got fossil fuels and you've got nuclear power, so such as uranium. That's the most common. Okay, so fossil fuel stations, the way they work, again, they probably won't ask you about this, but again, it's a good idea to have an understanding of it. So the way fossil fuel stations work is that so chemical energy, so that basically your fuel, your fossil fuel, is burnt. As that burns, the heat is used to heat up water. So inside these pipes over here, you have liquid water, and the heat turns that liquid water into gas, into steam. That steam then goes through the turbine and it causes the turbine to spin. Now, this turbine is also connected to a generator. So when the turbine spins, the generator spins. Now, and then once the generator spins, that makes electricity and then that's sent to the national grid. Also, what happens to the steam is that once it goes through the turbine, it then condenses back into liquid so it can be used again. Also, look at these different energy transfers. Now, the same thing happens in nuclear power station, but instead of burning a fuel, we have nuclear rods which release heat themselves. So these uranium rods, for example, will heat up water. This hot water will then go and mix with another batch of water, which will then evaporate that, turn it into gas, and then spins the steam spins the turbine, and then the turbine spins the generator, and then that makes electricity. So it's the same concept. These are nuclear and fossil fuel power stations. So you've got pros and cons. Now, pros, advantages are that you can make energy on demand. So basically, it's reliable. Or you can make energy whenever you want. Also, you can increase the energy supply. So, for example, if the city, for example, is binge watching Netflix and the electrical supply of the whole city goes up, you can actually burn more fossil fuels and increase the energy supply. Also, nuclear does not give off any dangerous gases. For example, it does not give off greenhouse gases or sulfur dioxide, which can lead to acid rain. Disadvantage is they're both finite, so they're both going to eventually finish. However, with nuclear, the problem is that it can lead to radiation, which is dangerous, and also nuclear has decommissioning time. So, for example, if you have a nuclear power plant and you decide to close it down, you can't immediately the next day open up a shop there, for example, KFC. The reason behind that is because although you've closed down the nuclear power plant, there's still some background radiation, so it takes a lot of time to slowly decommission it. Also, fossil fuels, the problems is that you can release carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. This is a greenhouse gas, causes global warming. This can cause acid rain. Chernobyl, so in this city, there was a nuclear power station. Something went wrong, it exploded, and as a result of that, the whole city is now covered by radiation. So humans cannot live here for the next 20,000 years because of how much radiation. So this is one of the disadvantages of nuclear power stations. Okay, wind and solar, these are both renewable. So this is a wind turbine. It uses wind energy to create electricity. So wind goes and it spins the turbine. And then inside here, there's a little generator. And solar panels, in here, there's no generator, but basically a solar panel converts light energy directly from the sun into electrical energy. So advantages and disadvantages. So again, have a read of these, make sure you remember them. Now, geothermal, this is quite interesting. We know that the core of the planet is quite warm. So if you have a power station, what you can do is you can pump water down to the core, and then what that will do is it will heat. So the water remains inside pipes. The water heats up, turns into steam, and the steam comes back up, and it passes through a turbine, which then passes through a generator, and that makes electricity. So it's very similar to the fossil fuel and nuclear fuel, but instead of burning fuels or using a nuclear rod, all we do is we use the Earth's heat to heat up the water. Hydroelectric. So here you have a dam. So you've got a valley which is quite high up. You fill up that valley with water, and of course a dam here to prevent the water from leaving. Once it's completely full, you can open up this dam, and then the water will rush down from up down into the turbine. So up here, the water's got gravitational potential energy. When you open the tap, it will, or open the gates rather, not tap, the water will rush down. So the gravitational potential energy is turned into kinetic energy. That then spins the turbine, and of course the turbine is connected to a generator. So when this spins, the generator spins, and of course that makes electricity, and it goes to the national grid. So advantage of this one, out of all the renewable ones, this one you can actually meet immediate demand. So basically, you can increase the energy supply if required. Hey guys, If that video helped you, support our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. And more importantly, if you still have questions, drop a post on our forum at examqa.com, where I will personally be there to help answer your questions. Mohammed signing out.